Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living and our Sunday celebration service. We're very glad that you have joined us today, and thank you for your flexibility in just being on StreamYard. I'm very grateful for the technology that allows us to do this when we can't be all together in the room. Speaking of being in the room, in the house, we have the amazing Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh with us today, and I'm very excited. And we are very blessed that she has chosen to join us. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Dusty Ripplemeyer, and I have the privilege and the honor of being this community's spiritual director. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that honors all paths and promotes global transformation through personal transformation. We are a spiritual community that can support you as you strive to experience a personal relationship with God. A spiritual community where you are respected and accepted for who you are. A space and place for inspiration, insight, and revelation, as well as loving support to grow into your highest and best self. No matter where you are on your spiritual path, you are always welcome here. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, which is a global community of approximately 450 spiritual centers, teaching chapters, and special focus ministries in 30 countries worldwide. Centers for Spiritual Living is a practical and positive philosophy, faith, and way of life whose global vision is a world that works for all. Again, thank you so very much for joining us today. I have a couple of announcements before we get into our message today. I'm not sure how many of you have ever heard of Edwene Gaines. She is an amazing prosperity teacher, one of the foremost in past, present, and future. She is absolutely amazing. She is going to be facilitating a 4-lesson prosperity class to anyone who would like to participate. It is free. The sessions begin on Sunday, April 13th, beginning at 2 o'clock. The second class will be held on May 11th, the third, June 8th, and the fourth on July 13th. They will all be on Zoom. Now, we thought it might be really powerful as a community if we were to host the classes at 4 Points by Sheridan. That way, those who wish to do so could watch the classes all together as a community. We would spend a few moments after the class to really be able to answer questions, to talk about practical ideas, and to create collective mental equivalents for our community. Everyone is welcome to join us. Now, the invitation would be to either bring your lunch and we could fellowship together for the time in between the end of our service and the beginning of the class, or we could go out to lunch together. Whichever way, we would then return back for the class. If you are interested in doing this together as a community, please RSVP to Heather at info@trianglecsl.org. info@trianglecsl.org. So please consider joining us for this. Our Wednesday evening services for 2025 are called the Wednesday Experience, a look at life through meditation, music, metaphysics, and magic. Each week, the evening will be facilitated by a host of ministers, practitioners, and others who will share their insight, revelations, and do so by having a provocative or inspirational story or reading, and then we would go into a meditation. Following the meditation, we would all have an opportunity to share with each other what came up for us during our meditation. The evening will once again be held on Zoom from 7 o'clock to 8:15, and the link will be on our Wednesday newsletter or also on our website. Following today's message, please join Reverend Michelle on Zoom. She will be hosting a workshop following the service. The workshop is called By My Hands. It is a powerful exploration of the union between co-creation and personal responsibility. Within you lies an immense creative force. one that becomes unstoppable when paired with full ownership of your choices and actions. True manifestation isn't just about envisioning, it's about claiming your role as both the architect and the builder of your reality. Together, we will anchor into the deep grounded principles that allow you to consciously shape your desired outcomes with clarity, intention, and power. The suggested cost is $25. Now, it's not too late to join us for this workshop, so please, if you are interested in doing so, reach out to Heather at, sorry, I lost the number here for a second, at 919-439-0679. That's 919-439-0679 to register, and then you will receive the link from her. So please consider joining us for this really powerful workshop. Speaking of special speakers, mark your calendar for Sunday, March 30th, when our beloved Reverend Denise Schumer will be joining us to give not only the message, but also to facilitate a workshop. Her talk title for the Sunday service is Blossoming Through Change, and the title for the workshop is Staying Spiritually Grounded Through Change. She says, as human beings, we exist in a field of endless changes in our lives, both personally and collectively. Some of these changes we want, and some of them we don't. Her illuminating workshop will explore the differences between navigating those changes as only a human being or navigating those changes as a birthless, deathless spiritual being. Life can be viewed through a purely human perspective or through a spiritual perspective. It all depends on where and how we identify ourselves. One will leave you in worry, doubt, and fear, and the other with positive expectations and faith in a greater good. We are all having an identity crisis, and the time is approaching us when we will be called upon to express the Christ consciousness within us. The bottom line is that life doesn't have to be so hard. Join us for this brief 2-hour journey into unfettered peace of mind, happiness, and calm in all situations. Both her message and her workshop will be held at 4 Points by Sheridan. The service is at 10:15 as always, and the workshop will begin at 12 o'clock and run through 2 o'clock. Pre-registration is required. The suggested cost is $25 in advance and $35 at the door. It will be an in-person workshop only, so please consider joining us at 4 Points by Sheridan and welcoming her back into the community in style. In this moment, my gratitude goes out to Heather Abbott for her meditation this morning, which expanded the consciousness and the container that our service will unfold within. And now, please welcome Cary Cross.
Hello.
Welcome, Carol.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carol Cross. I'm a licensed practitioner here at the center. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm happy to be with you on our St. Patrick's Day Eve service. Okay, so the theme for the year 2025 is Rising Higher, Growing Deeper. Our theme for the month of May is the flow of coming and going. And Reverend Michelle's message today is Holmes, Sweet Holmes. I'm now going to read our community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. So now we're going to take a moment to center ourselves as we move from the informational to the inspirational parts of our service. So please turn within, open your heart and mind, and allow the sounds of the crystal bowls to wash over you. Okay, welcome back. You want to open your eyes now because you don't want to miss our next portion, which is our wonderful ritual of the blessing of all faiths. May peace prevail from the followers of all paths, and so it is. So you can see the day before St. Patrick's Day, the leprechauns are playing their tricks on us, but we will forge ahead. Anyway, I'm now going to do an invocation. So I invite you to close your outer eyes as I say a blessing on today's service. And so I'm really feeling that sense of peace prevailing on the planet through the followers of all paths, filling up my heart, filling up my soul, filling up my being. And in saying that, I know that peace is not a feeling. Peace is a way of being. Peace is who and what I am. Because peace is a quality of the divine. And that is who at my core I am. I am the divine. I am an individualized expression of the one presence, the one power, the one substance that created all that is, that exists in all that is, and that will continue to be forever and ever, always and always. Amen. And that is so empowering to remember that. And I remember that for myself, but I remember it for all of us, because it's not because I'm special. It's the truth of each and every one of us. The truth of everything and everyone and every vibration and every atom in this universe. It's all good because it's all God. And so from that place, I know that today's service is unfolding in divine right action, regardless how it may seem sometimes to us from our physical point of view. But I know, I trust, I believe that it is unfolding exactly as what serves us the best. So I say a word of blessing on Ava and on Heather as they manipulate this technological magic that allows us to be together without being together. I say a word of blessing on Heather also for the beautiful meditation with which we started off our service today. I say a word of blessing on Reverend Dusty, always the most gracious host in the universe. I say a word of blessing on Reverend Michelle, who I know is going to bring us a new, unique, original take on some ancient wisdom, and that all will hear exactly what we individually need to know. I say a word of blessing on Karen Daly, who is going to uplift us with her musical musings. And I say a word of blessing on our entire community. That what I know is that, for me at least, it's easier to create heaven on earth when I have like-minded companions. And because we all are one, I know that that is true for everybody out there. So it is together that we make today's service a divine event, a meaningful event, an uplifting event, an inspiring event that will make a difference in the world. So knowing that that is what we are up to today, I say let's get to it. And I ask you to join me in affirming this for yourselves and for our entire community with our words, and so it is. Okay, so today's reading is from Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh. She says, by my hands I create My hands are the hands of God's. By my mouth I create. My words are the words of God. Through my thoughts I create. My thoughts are the thoughts of God. Through my actions I create. My actions are guided by God. As me, God creates more of itself. As me, God heals. As me, God loves. Through my prayers, God creates a life that is sacred, holy, and loving. And so it is. So I know we can't wait to hear the words of God, but we have a delicious appetizer before we get to Reverend Michelle, who I'm so excited to hear from. And that, of course, is our TCSL version of The Daily Show, the musical magic of our beloved and beautiful Karen Daly. Let's give her a big welcome.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you so much. Good morning. Consider the lilies in the fields, how they neither sow nor reap, but still God's beauty is revealed. He watches over them in their sleep. Will he not do so for you? Oh, my little orphan child, when your long dark night is through, you will see the morning smile. Look up, have faith, your dreams await. Whoa, you, beautiful you. Everybody knows the truth. You were such a reckless fool, and you spent your brilliant youth chasing your rainbows and your shadows too. But don't think you've lost your way, 'cause you're standing at the door, and tomorrow is today, and you are the one that you've been waiting for. Look up, have faith, your dreams await. Whoa, you, beautiful you. Look up, have faith, your dreams, they wait for you. Beautiful you. Thank you.
Beautiful song, magnificently sung. Thank you so very much, Carol. Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh is an inspiring coach, master teacher, speaker, author, workshop and retreat facilitator, and sought after prayer practitioner. She is the co-founder of Planned Happiness Institute and the PHI Coaching Academy with her husband, Reverend Neil Pinkman. Reverend Michelle founded the Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey over 20 years ago and is a 20-year graduate of the IPEC Coaching Institute. Reverend Michelle is an incredibly unique, practical teacher who is passionate about you mastering a fully expressed life. She is grounded in solid metaphysical principles and brings to her teaching a wide open heart, along with a sense of humor joyfully demonstrated through her laughter and her engaging style. Her focus as a teacher is empowering others for their own spiritual and emotional liberation through the application of practical tools and methods, including the science of mind. She is a straight shooter who calls things as she sees them while using her easygoing personal style. Michelle brings a wealth of experience from having assisted thousands of people to experience great transformation in their lives. We are truly blessed by her presence with us today. Please welcome Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh. Welcome.
Thank you, Dusty. Thank you for letting me be here, inviting me, and it's fun because the last time we were together was down in South Carolina, which was also fun. That was a very fun time, and especially since we were speaking about the same subject from polar opposite positions, but we managed to make it work. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm happy to meet you. What I'm known for normally is, although I'm letting go of it, my moniker is Rev Jersey Girl, which has a lot to do with my attitude, because in New Jersey we have reputations, although I've softened my reputation. But I am very happy to be here, and I want to speak for a moment. I love when life suddenly provides fodder, because I know that somewhere behind the scenes right now, someone who was responsible for the StreamYard, and then it canceled, I'm sure they're like sweating bullets. And what I love about who we are as a movement, if we are really taking the teaching into the belly of our being, is that we are people who go, yeah, okay, we go with the flow. We don't judge. We just go, okay, and we'll learn from this time and go on next, and not have to sweat or be upset or feel concerned or have drama. So to have whoever that is, I love you, and it's all fine. It's just interesting, that that while we are in a spiritual community, sometimes we're called to be like the mystical side of us. And I think what I'm saying about accepting what is, that's the mystical side of us. We don't always see ourselves as mystics in science mind. I know the term I use often is spiritual metaphysician, because I've been a metaphysician from born into metaphysics, and that's all I've ever known. And so that can sound kind of heady, and Holmes in the textbook can seem kind of heady, and yet the truth is, when you read his other materials and you read the Voice Celestial, this thing called You, The Art of Life, Your Invisible Power, all of these texts of his, you begin to see the mystical side of him. And my wish, want, hope, and dream for you, each one of you who might be here, is that you also get to engage your mystical side. The mystical side is the place where we have the wisdom to not have to form an opinion just to form an opinion, where we get to practice acceptance, deep and profound acceptance of all beings, whether they're human or furry or feathery or fins. It's the complete acceptance of life. And I think science of mind paves the way for us to be that person if we're willing. But on the other hand, and I don't want to, I'm not saying that this is what Reverend Dusty went through, but I was in my pulpit for many years and left it a year ago. And I know for me, and I'm going to be true, as she said I would be, that when COVID hit, we had been teaching on Zoom for years prior. So when COVID hit, we got up and kept going. We didn't have any issues with that. However, what I feel like my superpower was when I was in the pulpit was the kind of service I could create. We had a lot of creativity. We always had a live band, a 3-piece band or 4-piece band, depending on who was there on a Sunday, sometimes single musicians. We had performers and belly dancers and poets and skits. We had it all because I believed, and I still believe, that that we learn on many levels. And so when I got to have that creative or be creative and have access to people in my creativity, I watched minds and hearts be engaged in ways that weren't necessarily just from the lesson, and often I would say, depending upon what music is being played, I would say, well, we could go home now, because music does something to us that a spoken word won't necessarily do. But I'm going to admit to you, COVID kicked my ass because when I could no longer bring those aspects, and we didn't have StreamYard, we were doing things on Zoom. When I didn't have that creative access, I felt dumbed down. It was difficult. I found it difficult. And so I pulled my community through COVID, gave them a little time afterwards, and left my pulpit. But my awareness from what I can see, and I travel the country. I travel internationally to Science of Mind communities. And what I have noticed is that it appears as if we have somehow collectively forgotten the full potency and power of the Science of Mind teaching. There was a time, if you read old metaphysical stories, there were stories of healings like you wouldn't believe, from Emma Curtis Hopkins and Mary Baker Eddy and Holmes and Fillmore, people who and matter of fact, Myrtle Fillmore, and I can't remember what she healed from, but there were major stories of healing. But somehow it's as if we have forgotten the power within the movement, the teaching, and spiritual mind treatment, to be very specific. And somehow we watered it down. And I mean collectively. It might not be Reverend Dusty. Certainly wasn't me. But no, that's not true. A little bit. There was a little bit. There were times. And we watered it down to be more accepted. We watered it down to be more secular. Even we watered it down when we took on the name Centers for Spiritual Living, where we used to be religious science. I still love that. I still love that name. But all of those changes, slowly, incrementally, a little bit at a time, kind of watered down our direct access to the power. I love that Raymond Charles Barker reading that got used today. That man was all about the power of the teaching. So some of the ways that we have, that we have come away from the full potency is the way we've become polite. We've become polite in that we don't really want to offend people. We have come away from talking about the ability to heal with the conviction that we once had. I'm not certain why that is, but I see it everywhere. Sometimes it appears as if we don't want to overpromise anymore. But I know, and I bet you know, and I bet you have had, that you yourself have stories. I know that Reverend Dusty has stories of full out mind-blowing healings. I mean, we've had healing circles in my community where tumors were melted away, and on and on and on. I'm not going to testify today to those stories, but I know that they exist and they have existed. But somehow during COVID, we started leaning more on the pharmaceutical influences and less on principle. And God forbid you talked about healing during COVID. You would have been Some people were labeled as irresponsible. I know personally, I had a prayer partner that was part of this movement. And when we were not necessarily subscribing to the doubt and the fear that was there, and I wasn't ever suggesting that anyone else do the same thing, but my whole family is influenced by this movement, either whether they realize it or not. So we gathered for Thanksgiving during COVID, and my prayer partner accused me of having a spreader event and being irresponsible. And I thought, I was surprised. Yes, I know that Ernest Holmes says that there's as much power in the pill as in the prayer, and I agree, because it's our faith and conviction in either that make it so. That was one of his gifts to us. It is your faith of spirit as an element. You could take a medication all day long, but without your faith, without your conviction and your belief in it, it will be no better than taking a sugar placebo. Okay? So one of the gifts of Holmes was the conversation around consciousness, I mean, and if you think that we don't have a global impact or a global appearance, think again, because there are people, and I know you know them, anyone who likes to stroll along Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, there are thousands of people teaching exactly what we're teaching. However, they're teaching it to the secular world. They're teaching it without our jargon, and they are getting the word out there, and they are making oodles of money doing so. God bless them. I would never want to take away from, but I would want to add to our incredible ministers, teachers, and practitioners, or lay people who can really speak the word. Let us be the ones to provide this influence and this inspiration in the world, and take full credit for it and call it science of mind. But so in this, those are some of the changes that I noticed. And I think that we forgot. I want to take responsibility, because there were moments for me, but I think we forgot how powerful principle is. We forgot. And I say that, I'm saying it with a we, because again, I see communities everywhere who had vibrant, wonderful, amazing communities, buildings, spaces that are now working to stay open and stay alive. And so this talk today, while it's about Holmes and his influences and his inspiration to us, it is also a call for anyone listening who might be part of any Science of Mind community to remember that it is through us. It is through us, which is what my workshop is about today. It says, by my hands, and we'll talk briefly about the kingdoms of consciousness, because it might sound to you that I'm only talking about the second kingdom of consciousness, but trust me, I'm not. But you and I, we are being called forth to speak our word, to know the truth, to grow these communities. And why? Because there are people standing right next to you, on your right, on your left, in your house, in your community, your neighbors, who right now need an oasis. They need a place to go, to be accepted, to be loved, to be listened to. And if it's not us, or unity, or divine science, but if it's not us, who will give that to them? Because so many other teachings right now are based on fear and doubt, and they are putting polarizing ideas out on social media. Let us not be that. Let us be the grounded place of calm. Anyway, through the other thing that I believe we forgot is that it's through taking responsibility for our lives that we get to live our lives masterfully. Now, I want to create a very important distinction here. Taking responsibility is not in any way, shape, or form synonymous with taking fault or blame. They are not even in the same category. To take responsibility says that I know that I had influence in this situation, or that I have influence in this situation, and I'm willing to take responsibility for it. And I'm willing, through my spoken word or my thought word, because they're both powerful, that I have created the life that I live. There are probably some situations that you're in right now that might feel a little tender, that might feel a little bit tender, and you might not want to take responsibility. You might not. I get it. I get it. I'm thinking. Sorry, my mind starts to go because I'm just thinking about my own life. For yourself right now, if everything is wonderful, great. But what I've learned, especially in the past 6 months, because 6 months ago, I'll tell you this is how life happens, okay? And this, God bless Ernest Holmes for giving me the tools and the teachings to live a balanced, grounded, and calm life where I can accept reality at face value while still looking forward to what is possible. Last September, I was traveling all around the Northwest. I started in Canada and went to a number of different communities up in Washington. And I tell you, if you haven't been to that part of the world, go. It's stunning. It's stunning. There's a rainforest up there. Did you know? So I come home, and the day that I arrived, that day was the day that my book, which is the here, I'll just show you what it looks like, my shadow book, which was published by Macmillan Publishers. It came out on that day. That same day is the day that my husband and I had a doctor's appointment for him to find out for sure, for the first time for sure, that he had a diagnosis of cancer. I gotta tell you, it was an incredible convergence of emotions and realities. And right there before me, right there, was the opportunity to choose how to respond to life. This is the gift of Science of Mind and Ernest Holmes. When we take responsibility for how we respond, I know that's the classic, that's the classic definition, taking the ability to respond. But when we take responsibility, then we can choose where to place our attention and our focus. And folks, there's nothing more powerful. There is nothing more powerful than knowing who you are and knowing the gift that you bring and then bringing it. And the thing we forgot too, again, is because we had that 2 years of separation and not being in each other's company and all of that stuff. Oh my gosh. We stopped engaging. Face it, right here, this is a result. And it's lovely that I could be here with you, but this was born from the need from COVID. And most communities now are doing a hybrid where it's in person and it's on Zoom or on Facebook, which is great. But what's happened is we, the members now, we have forgotten the value of rubbing up against somebody. We have forgotten about the value of hugs. We have forgotten that while the music, and I'm sorry, I forgot the musician's name, that while she provides this beautiful music, that when you feel that music in person, there's a vibration that happens to the body temple. And so by choosing to stay home when one could travel, then we don't get the benefit that comes from that vibration. And face it, now there is an advantage in that you can get inspiration from anyone, anywhere, the hundreds of places that you could tune into, which is great. However, there's a loss of some loyalty that benefits the communities. I want to read to you, and it's funny because this just came on the listserv today, but I want to read it because it's just so pure Ernest Holmes. He said, "We should be careful to distinguish daydreaming and wistful wishing from really dynamic and creative treatment. When we treat, we do not wish, we know. We do not dream, we state. We do not hope, we accept. We do not pray, we announce." I love this. "We do not expect something is going to happen. We believe that it has already happened." The Science of Mind, and our beloved Ernest Holmes. Let's see if I have his book right here. No, it's on my bookshelf. It's not here. Was an invitation for each one of us to be the full, beautiful, stunning being that we can be. I mean, we are not a self-help state. We're not just a self-help, stay positive, new agey, movement. And unfortunately, The Secret, which is many years ago now, but it made everything oversimplified, and God knows they shouldn't have had that genie in the movie because people started acting like, well, that God was a vending machine. And while we have always been aware, and we now have the help of the language, quantum language. I want to know if you know this, that according to, oh my God, I forgot his name. Maybe somebody here knows it. In the book, The Physics of God, that if we removed all the space between all the cells of your body temple, do you know that you would fit on the head of a pin? Let me tell you why this is critical. Because you are not what you think you are. You are not that body. You are a point of consciousness captured between those 30 trillion cells. All thoughts that you are solid, or all thoughts that you are solid, is an illusion. It's an illusion. You and I are the effervescent flow of consciousness and possibility moving in and out and around. And when we get that, when we fully and completely get that, and then speak to that, and then make sure that our inner voice complements the spoken word. Because if there's a difference, if you're here speaking one way, but your thinking is different, there'll be a conflict, and conflict will destroy the message you're trying to deliver. Or if you're speaking one way, but you're entertaining fear and doubt, it's the fear and doubt that activates emotions in you. And then once again, it will be neutralized. So let us challenge, let you and I, literally you and I, challenge the status quo. Let us give more life to this national, or less life to the drama, the national drama, but more life to taking responsibility and being a place of calm and possibility. Let us look at the illusion of lack in the eye and say, oh, hell no. Hell no. Matter of fact, I did a talk last week in my old community, and the title of the talk was I Love Money. Let us remember that. Let us fall back into remembering that money is simply an exchange. In the way I said it in my community, is that it's easier than keeping goats and pigs for exchange, or chickens. But let us look at these things dead in the eye, and say, no, you will not have your way with me. Let us do that for our own lives. Let us do that for the people we love. And let us do that for the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, because you are an important part of this movement. And I put this ploy out wherever I go, that without our members taking hold and taking responsibility, we will not be the communication and the possibility that we really want to be. So the workshop today, just so you know, the workshop today can be utilized for you personally, or for you to support Reverend Dusty and her beautiful team of people to raise the community up even more, even more. You know that world is using, that the world around is using the principles and practices without crediting the science of mind. But you and I know how to credit it, and we know how to benefit from it. So let's stop being so damn shy. Let us stop watering down the teaching. Let us, not that we have to go praising Holmes like we don't have to do that, but let us walk in the power of principle and possibility to create the life that I think we would want if we were in conversation. Join me, if you will, later for a continued conversation and to pull up some points around what that can look like. I feel complete. I'd like to treat for us now. So please close your eyes, or don't. The reason why we close our eyes is to turn away from effect. Let yourself settle. Let yourself feel grounded, rooted in the principle of life, as I affirm this word for each of us. For I know there is a power and a presence and a love. It is grand. It is glorious. It is life itself. I speak this word not as myself, Michelle, but the I am of me, which speaks to the I am of each of us. This I am is powerful and potent. And as we sync up to it and align with it and surrender over to it, we are in complete relationship with the power and the love and the creativity of this one. Oh, man, is it beautiful and glorious and absolutely glorious. I take a breath to allow these words to sink in at a soul. Let this word, this spoken word, fill all those spaces between those 30 trillion cells. Let this spoken word be our reality. So I bless everyone who's here today. I bless the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, its leader, Reverend Dusty, and their team and her team. And I know with great humility that we are a collective of conscious, potent, and loving beings allowing life to be so beautiful. Let us accept that we are meaningful, potent, and that we will change agents for possibility with a bounty of gratitude, a bounty of gratitude. I release this word to love, to law, and to the awe of life itself. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so very much, Reverend Michelle, for that beautiful, inspiring message and call to action for each of us individually and collectively as our community. It was wonderful, and I'm really looking forward to the workshop and really, once again, invite everyone to join us. It is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. This is the time every week when we offer financial support to assist this community to be a beacon of light and love and warmth in the Greater Triangle area. Together, we affirm the truth that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and contributes to the experience of sufficiency on the planet. There are several ways that you can give, and they're here on your screen. You can visit our website at trianglecsl.org. You can text the word give to 919-629-9148, or you can actually send a check to our P.O. Box at P.O. Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina 27519. I now invite everyone to take your gift or just your hand and put it against your heart, and with an affirmation for yourself or for others, someone else. And please, we'll do our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source.
I give with gratitude, knowing with that God is my source.
There she is. And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you all so very much. And now, please join me as we welcome the amazing, the talented, the beautiful Karen Daly back into the show.
Thank you, Dusty. Thank you, Rev Michelle. That was outstanding. "93 million miles from the sun. People get ready, 'cause here it comes. It's a light, a beautiful light, over the horizon into your eyes. And oh my, how beautiful. Oh, my irrefutable mother, she said, sweet girl, in life you're gonna go far. And if you do it right, you'll love right where you are. And just know that wherever you go, you can always come back home. 240,000 miles from the moon. Come a long way to belong here, to share this view of the night, a glorious night. Over the horizon, it's another bright sky. And oh my, how beautiful. Oh, my irrefutable father, he said, sweet girl, in life it may seem dark, but the absence of the light, it's a necessary part. And just know that you're never alone. You can always come back home. Whoa. 93 million miles from the sun. People get ready, 'cause here it comes. It's a light, a beautiful light, over the horizon into your eyes. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Oh man, thank you so very much, Karen. That's just such a beautiful musical accompaniment to Reverend Michelle's talk. And I spoke earlier of community, and Karen played that song at my son's graduation, so it always just makes me feel so grateful that this is the home that I get to come home to. So thank you, Karen. All right. So if anyone would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org. At the bottom of the page, click prayer request, then click the button and fill in the request form. We will get that prayer and send it out to all of the ministers and practitioners. And if anyone would like to dedicate a flower dedication to anyone for anything, please contact Heather Abbott at info@trianglecsl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyripplemeyer@yahoo.com. All right. So now it is time for our affirmations. I say this every time. What matters is that you feel it, that you express it, that you don't just mumble the words after me. Okay? Let's make this so. So it is a call and response. So please repeat it with meaning. And Dusty will be your representative in this format. Okay. Even though I live in a world full of noise and distractions, I choose to get quiet and listen for my inner wisdom.
Even though I live in a world full of noise and distractions, I choose to get quiet and listen for my inner wisdom.
By doing so, I am reminded of and embody my oneness with life.
By doing so, I am reminded of and embody my oneness with life.
Even though I live in a world of constantly changing tides, I choose to remember that change is a natural part of life.
Even though I live in a world of constantly changing tides, I choose to remember that change is a natural part of life.
By doing so, I'm able to navigate the tides and stay true to and aligned with my divinity.
By doing so, I am able to navigate the tides and stay true to and aligned with my divinity.
Today, I surrender to the presence of God within me as me.
Today, I surrender to the presence of God within me as me.
By doing so, I experience comfort in the discomfort, peace in the chaos, stillness in the noise, and sway in the flow of life.
By doing so, I experience comfort in the discomfort, peace in the chaos, stillness in the noise, and sway in the flow of life.
And so it is.
And so it is.
All right. So I'll just ask everyone to close their eyes, their outer eyes, for one last time as we close up this service. And I love that thing that Reverend Michelle said about closing our eyes is to remove us from the place of effect. Because where we want to live is in the place of cause. And that place of cause is however it is that we see the divine. And I love the light that she has shined on the nature of cause. That each and every one of us can take responsibility to being at cause of what shows up in our lives. And it matches perfectly with Karen's song that says, there's a place for the dark. You know, we would all love to live in the light all the time, but there is a place of the dark. And we need to acknowledge it. And we need to embrace it. And we need to understand the place that plays in our journey towards the life of our dreams. So, you know, today I bless all the leprechauns that have popped into our service today, because I know the leprechauns, first of all, they bring fun, they bring disruption, they break our commitment to everything playing out just the way we planned. But the leprechauns have their role in leading us to that pot of gold that's at the end of the rainbow. And so I assert today's service has unfolded in divine right order. And I surrender myself to what Michelle called the effervescence of thought and possibility. So I know my possibilities moving forward from today are greater than they were this morning when I woke up. And I assert that that is the truth for all of us. And so I know that we take this into the world and utilize it not just to uplift ourselves, but to move our entire planet towards our goal of a world that works for everyone. That is our pot of gold, right? So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for everybody's participation. I'm so grateful for a new voice in our community. I'm so grateful that we do have a technology that, even though we love the hugs, we love the live vibrations, we also love to be able to connect this way when this is our only option. And I'm so grateful for our community. I'm so grateful that I get to come home to this community at least every Sunday. And if I really check in, every day. So knowing that life is taking a different trajectory after participating in this service, I also want to turn this over to the world of love and law and ask you to affirm that with me with our words. And so it is. And I think Dusty is coming. Yes, here's
Thank
Dusty.
you. Thank you very much, Carol. Beautiful prayer, beautiful benediction to close us out. I just want to take a moment to really thank all of the people that were responsible for today's service. Carol, Heather, Ava, behind the scenes, we didn't get to see too much. The beautiful Karen and her lovely voice, and the awesome Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh for her beautiful message today, and to each and every single one that joined us. Thank you all so very much. Please consider joining us at 12 o'clock for Reverend Michelle's workshop. I can honestly say I'm going to declare that you will be very glad that you did. So please, you can connect with Heather at 919-439-0679 to join us for that workshop. I will see you in just, 19 minutes at 12 o'clock for that. I love you all. Have a great and amazing week. Thank you, everybody. Bye, everyone. Love you.